Well, it's been a busy week, and so let's get started by taking a look at some of the stories that have caught our attention.
Joining us are comedian Ashley Blaker and columnist Liz Jones. Welcome to you both. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Ashley, you're going to kick things off with a story you've noticed in the Daily Star about the rise of robots in places of worship.
Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. According to the Daily Star, several of the world's major religions are now using robots as spiritual leaders performing sermons and running services, which I think is amazing. It's difficult enough to get children interested in religion. It'd be a lot easier to get your children to go to synagogue or church if the leader was essentially a transformer. You have Optimus Prime turns into a truck, Bumblebee is a car, this one turns into a Buddhist monk. It's fantastic. I can see downsides, though. I'm not sure. I'm not a Catholic, but I'm not sure I'd want to confess my sins to R2-D2.
Yeah, we actually got a picture of one, or some moving images of one. I mean, I've got to say, when I saw it, you would not confide in that thing, would you? Liz, what do you reckon? Does it make you feel relaxed?
Well, what about if someone was able to hack it? I mean, anything can be hacked these days, and all your secrets would be out there.
Yeah, Angelica, look at that thing.
I like people, and I want to see facial expressions and then get a feel of what someone else is thinking. So I'm not sure it would work for me, but I do like what you said about Ashley about the transformer effect. It might get lots more younger people there.
Well, yeah, I mean, think of the merchandising as well.
That's terrible. No, I mean, if you think about it, how can a robot believe in a god? Because we've created the robot. We're the god of the robot, aren't we? How can they be teaching us about God? Ashley.
Well,
Liz. You go, Liz. You go.
I don't know, and maybe it would do a better job than a religious leader, because I don't see that they're doing a very good job at the moment. I mean, what religious leaders were shouting from the rooftops about wildlife markets and destruction of the Amazon rainforest, I didn't hear them doing that.
Actually, religious leaders are meant to teach us to be better humans. A robot can't do that, surely.
It's difficult. Well, the trouble is my rabbi doesn't speak very good English. He speaks mostly Yiddish. I never understand what he's saying. So a robot, C-3PO is fluent in over 6 million forms of communication. So, and I don't mind actually saying this because my rabbi doesn't own a TV, so there's very little chance he's going to see it.
We're going to send in the recording.
OK, Liz, I'm going to go to you because you've picked out one of the more shocking stories of the week. The headline is Men Doing Housework. Dun, dun, dun. Tell us about this one.
I'm going to be a bit Donald Trump on this. I think it's fake news. I think they're lying. And if they are doing 5.5 extra hours a week, they're not doing it properly. And the reason they don't do it properly is because they know that we are going to take over. And even men don't do the manly things around the house. You know, they don't even know how to start a lawnmower anymore. And they keep asking me, how do I start a lawnmower? Just Google it. You know, so it's fake news.
Ashley, what are your housework skills like?
They're not great, but I agree with Liz. I think this is, don't trust statistics, basically. 5.5 hours a week more we're doing, but there are 33 million men in the country. It's less than a second each when you add it up. So.
Sean, have you been doing more housework?
Can I just say, I do quite a lot. I do as much housework as my wife, but I feel like I'm
so is it
missing
quite
a trick
50?
here. Yeah, 50. Actually, 60-40 in my favour, I'd have to say.
Oh, really?
Liz, what men are you hanging out with, Liz?
You see, I think lockdown has forced men to do more, and the minute lockdown finishes, they'll go back to saying they're too tired and stressed, and they're too tired to go to Waitrose.
I think we need to introduce you to more different men, Liz. Not more men. That's something. Yeah, different men who can work on the lawnmower and can, you know, clean the kitchen. No.
And learn to load the dishwasher properly.
Let's move on, but I'm still not convinced about you doing 60-40. I need the evidence.
Oh, seriously, I do lots of work. Do you do most of the housework at home?
No, it's balanced. It is balanced.
I see.
But I know what Liz is saying about a lot of women prefer just to do it themselves
because
they
it's
have
done better.
Yeah, but hey ho, that's another topic. That's another show. Yeah. OK, let's. Now here's one I found. OK, this is about divorce numbers being surging by almost a quarter. And what's interesting about this story is that it's 12 months before lockdown, representing one of the sharpest rises ever since numbers were recorded in the mid-19th century. Now, this is due to improvement in digital handling of divorces, but we've got the new divorce reforms coming in. next year, and they're being bitterly opposed and criticised because it's saying it's going to lead to the destruction of marriage. And you'll have divorce on demand, in which no husband or wife will be able to challenge their partner's request for a divorce. So, Ashley, do you think marriage is being treated more disposably?
Well, it sounds like it. And actually, with a lot of religions, you have to go to see your spiritual leader if you want to get divorced. If all you now have to do is go to a robot, it would become a lot easier. Just literally go to the Terminator, and it would be hasta la vista, baby, and it's done.
Well,
I think there's also this must be a rise, though, in people who can see into the future. If it was before lockdown, people realised what was coming and thought it's time to pull the plug now.
Well, Ashley, what's the secret to your 18-year marriage then?
The secret to my 18-year marriage is that before lockdown, I was living half the year in New York on my own. So that's actually it's when you live 3,500 miles apart from each other, you very rarely get into arguments. It does mean I do a lot less housework.
What's the secret to your relationships? Not the lawnmower, I assume.
Well, I mainly got divorced 13 years ago because my husband wouldn't do anything around the house. He wouldn't phone up the gas board, and he was just useless around the house, and I got tired of being his mother. But the only thing I'd say about no-fault divorce is it's different if you've got children. I didn't have children, so that was fine. We just separated. But I think if you've got children, it needs to be not quite so easy to get divorced.
I mean, do you think marriage is treated as quite disposable nowadays, Liz?
Yeah, when I got divorced, it was no-fault divorce. Even though he was the one cheating on me, we had to do everything equally. I think after lockdown, I think a lot of couples will be thinking, I need to live on my own, I need my own personal space. I think divorces are going to go shooting up.
OK, look, let's move on to a story I saw this week. It's about a subject that a lot of us have been talking about. It's lockdown, the work-life balance. Worshippers have been told not to invade their priest's privacy, with guidance urging them to respect the boundaries between a vicar's role in the pulpit and family life at home. This is part of a covenant for clergy care and well-being to safeguard the mental health of priests. Now, Liz, I know a vicar who basically they're on 24/7 work. People knock on their door all the time, and many of those requests are they're not necessary at that time. And it was affecting his mental health, and it was affecting his family. This is fair enough, isn't it, to give them some boundaries? Surely.
I think if you've got a secure job, you're very lucky to still have it, and you should be working 24/7. I was shocked during lockdown when I was going to have a Zoom meeting with a 20-something, and they said they were taking a personal day. What were they doing? You know, I think these days we all need to be working harder. We shouldn't be on call. And to say that, you know, you're going to put family life first, it's ridiculous, you know. Someone said to me, oh, I can't speak to you tomorrow because I've got children. Put them in the garden, you know. We all need to work harder, longer.
Actually, maybe we need robots, don't we? We need robot priests and vicars.
Well, the thing is, I mean, Orthodox Jews have got a lot of rules, so we always have to ask the rabbi, can we eat this food? Can we do this? I don't know what Christians are asking vicars. Can I eat this quiche? I don't know what it is that they're asking. I mean, certainly the robots would make it a lot easier to answer all those questions.
But Liz, you know, going back to what you said, you know, what about our mental health? If we're working all the time, especially in this unprecedented time, isn't it going to affect people's mental health?
Well, I think it depends what your career is. I mean, working 7 days a week if you're a cleaner is obviously a lot harder than if you're, say, a writer like I am, and I enjoy my job. And, you know, I find it fulfilling and I'm better when I'm busy. But I think particularly millennials, they are so full of self-entitlement. They don't want to be disturbed on a Saturday morning. And I just think, if you want to get the economy back on its feet, we've all got to work harder and longer.
Liz, they've got it right, though, haven't they? Surely they've got it right that they're looking after their mental health.
But I think, well, for me personally, my mental health is best when I'm being a productive member of society and I'm working really hard. My mental health doesn't improve sitting in the garden looking at orchids.
Actually, lockdown has sort of blurred the lines, hasn't it, between home and work life?
Oh, no, 100%, exactly. I mean, I can't do it. I've got 6 children as well, so I mean, the only reason they haven't disturbed this is because I've locked them into the basement. I mean, there's no way you can do any work when you've got a lot of children around.
OK, now I have seen one of the biggest stories of the week, and I think everybody has, you know, we've talked about this. It's Wiley's Facebook and Instagram accounts has been deactivated after anti-Semitic remarks. And just to give a background of the story, the move follows a 48-hour boycott of social platforms by celebrities and leading figures, including the chief rabbi. Wiley now has apologised, claiming that he's not racist, saying, "My comments should not have been directed to all Jews or Jewish people. I want to apologise for generalising. I want to apologise for comments that were looked at as anti-Semitic." Ashley, what do you make of the response of social media to this whole story?
I know a lot of people have criticised Twitter and other platforms for not being quick enough. I think one has to put it into a bit of perspective. They have 500 million tweets a day. I think it's unrealistic to expect them to act as quickly sometimes as we would like. There has to obviously be a process. I think the bigger issue is actually society making sure that these things don't happen. Let's not blame it's not the fault of social media, that's just a platform. Obviously, we need society to ensure that people don't say and think stupid things.
Actually, but the chief rabbi said that they were complicit.
It's a platform. I mean, people will always have a platform to say things to say. I think society has obviously got an issue. If people think and believe things that are offensive, racist, stupid in other ways, that is a problem of society, not a problem of social media.
Yeah, Ashley and Liz, we're out of time, actually, so we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks very much. It's really good to talk to you both.
Thank you.
In the rest of the show, we're going to be taking a closer look